good morning and happy new year. It's currently like that stage between Christmas and New Year where you don't know what day it is, you don't know what time it is, you don't know where you are, what you're doing. But it is New Year's Eve as I'm filming this, so happy new year. I've not posted on this channel for what feels like months. I think it's been about 6 months, if not more. It's been a little bit of a crazy time in a good way. I'm actually pregnant, which is such amazing news, but let me tell you, the first trimester was rough. So I was out of the gym, I wasn't in the mood for filming, but I am much better now. I am currently 17 weeks pregnant, so I'm out of the depths of the first trimester and I'm feeling so much better. So it's so good to be back in the gym and just feeling like myself again. So I'm actually gonna film a little bit of a mini vlog. I say mini vlog, I'm not doing much today. Even though it's New Year's Eve, I've literally got no plans. I can't even blame it on pregnancy, to be fair, because we did the same last year. Me and my boyfriend literally just stayed home in bed watching a film and it was great. So that's on the agenda for today. I am gonna go to the gym. It's currently nearly 12 o'clock and I'm still in my pyjamas, but I've had such a slow morning, just making the most out of being off work and stuff before I'm back next week. So I'm gonna head to the gym shortly and take you through my leg day. I have altered my leg days a little bit now that I'm pregnant. Obviously there's certain stuff that I can't do. I've had to really take the weight down on some exercises as well, just to make sure that I'm doing it safely and stuff. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to just take you through how I now structure my leg day now that I'm pregnant. Other than that, I've not got much on for today. It's just a really cozy day at home. I think I'll come back home after the gym, do a few bits, have a nice chill, and then I'll probably head to my boyfriend's later on to watch a film. And I was gonna say see the new year, go into the new year with him, but we'll probably be asleep before midnight. So but yeah, I completely lost my train of thought there. I started rambling and I don't even know, what I was saying wasn't even English. But I am full of a cold. Well, I'm kind of coming to the end of it now. But I've just like listened to my first clip back and I was like, oh my god, my voice sounds so deep and I feel like I'm breathing so heavily. I feel like now, like, a pregnancy symptom is that I get really out of breath really quick. Like, I don't even have to be moving. I could just be having a conversation with someone and I'm like panting for my fucking life. So I hate like heavy breathing, as like it just goes through me. It's one of those things, you know, that literally makes you want to scratch your bones. So I do apologise for that. But I'm just about to head to the gym, so I thought I'd show you what I'm going to wear today. My bump at the minute it's there, but it's still quite small, so I've not had to go into maternity stuff yet. Luckily my gym sets are quite stretchy, but I did order some new ones before I found out I was pregnant, and then I tried them on the other day and I was like, oh my god, my child will not be able to breathe if I wear these shorts. But luckily I've got some stretchy ones. So I just got these from TikTok shop. I've had them for ages, so the colour is a little bit faded now, but they are just so comfy and so good for like leg days and stuff. So I think these are the Define dupes, I want to say. So it's just this little pink set. We found out that we are having a little baby girl as well a couple of days ago. So that was nice. It was a nice little post-Christmas present. So I thought, why not kick off my first session after finding out what we're having with a little pink set for our baby girl. And then I've not actually worn this yet, but it's just a black hoodie, zip up hoodie from, I want to say Shein. I always do my gym sets and stuff from the cheap places, because you can just get so much more and the quality is really good as well. So yeah, pink set, TikTok shop. This is Shein. So I got myself ready. I just need to get dressed and head to the gym, and then I'll talk you through my leg day. And yeah, I think that's gonna be everything for the video, to be honest. Like I said, I've not got many plans, but yeah, I will see you in the gym. So I actually forgot that I did film some clips from my morning, so we're not in the gym just yet, but First things first was getting up and just making my bed. I feel like I love doing this first thing because it just sets you right for the day, having a nice freshly made bed. I then just had a little chill and had a decaf tea. That is one thing that I am really missing during pregnancy, is the caffeine. I used to drink quite a lot, so switching to decaf has been hard. I then had some breakfast. I just had some bagels, avocado and poached eggs, which has been an absolute staple for me recently. I feel like I've had this every day, weeks if not months on end. I then just went in and did some skincare. My skin has been so bad during pregnancy. It has calmed down a little bit, but I've just been keeping it very simple, not wanting to use too many products, and you obviously have to be quite careful with what you're using during pregnancy as well. So I just used my Aveeno cleanser, my Aveeno moisturiser, and then my ByMol SPF. I then went in and did a little bit of makeup, which I don't usually do for the gym, but because I've been feeling quite rubbish with a cold and stuff recently, I just thought it would make me feel better. Just one of those, if you look good, you feel good kind of thing. Then I headed to the gym, and the first thing that I did when I got there was warm up. My warm up consists of a few dynamic stretches, which are stretches which involve movement, and I always do these before my workout. You always want to do these before you lift heavy, or lift anything for that matter, as dynamic stretches are what get your muscles and joints warmed up and ready to lift. The rep range that I use for my dynamic stretches is usually between 15 and 20 reps per leg, as a lot of the dynamic stretches that I do are singular leg. So the first stretches that I started with were leg swings. I did front to back and then side to side, which is what you can see on the screen right now. I actually always used to skip warming up. I just used to think it was a waste of time, and I just wanted to kind of get in and out of the gym. Thought it took up too much time, but now that I've actually implemented a good dynamic warm up into my leg days and upper days as well, I've noticed such a difference in my performance and recovery. The stretch that I'm doing on the screen at the moment, I don't actually know the name of it. I feel like stretches have multiple names. It's just this kind of leg opening movement which gets your hips nice and warmed up. You'll notice that a lot of my dynamic stretches do include hip movements. That's because my hips click quite a lot, and also now that I'm pregnant, I've started with hip pain. So especially on my leg days, I'm just wanting to get those hips really warmed up before I even think about lifting anything. I'm now making sure that I'm getting my hamstrings nice and warmed up, as we do have RDLs in today's session. So I always feel like my hamstrings get really sore and stiff quite easily. So I always make sure that I've got a hamstring dynamic stretch in my warm up as well. And then for my last stretch, I went in with another hip movement. Again, I don't know the name of this one, but like I said before, I'm really just making sure that I'm getting those hips warmed up. Then I moved on to the leg day itself, but before I did my working sets of RDLs, I did actually do a set with just the bar and no weight on it, just as part of my warm-up as well, just to get those muscles used to the movement before adding weight onto the bar. RDLs can be quite tricky to figure out, but as soon as you've mastered the form, they are such a good exercise for your hamstrings and glutes. So a few form tips that I always try and remember when doing this exercise is to have your feet shoulder width apart, your toes pointing out ever so slightly. You want to brace your core, keeping your back nice and straight, hinging backwards at the hips and a big bend in the knee. I also filmed it from this angle so that you can kind of see what it looks like from the side. As you can see, my back is nice and straight. There's no curve in the lower spine. You really need to avoid this because you can really hurt your back if you have any kind of curve or anything like that. And then I'm also bringing the barbell to around mid-shin. One thing I will say about RDLs as well, as I used to think this as well when I first started out, but you don't have to squeeze your glutes at the top of the movement. I used to think that when you got to the top of the movement, you really needed to like hinge forward and squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, but you really don't need to do that. Your glutes are doing all the work on the way down and on the way back up, not at the top, so you simply just don't need to squeeze your glutes. Then I moved on to leg press. I usually do the lying leg press, the free weight one where you load the weights on, but it was taken today, and I am quite conscious that I'm kind of getting to that stage in pregnancy where you're not meant to be doing exercises on your back. So just for my own peace of mind, I went in with the normal seated leg press, and I feel like it felt a lot more comfortable, especially at this stage in pregnancy. It was just it just felt right. I then went into some isolated movements, so I started with a leg extension which targets your quads. It looks so easy, but it's really brutal, and I always feel sick after every set on leg extension, which is obviously a good sign, shows that it's working, but honest to God, they are so brutal. The rep range that I'm using on exercises at the moment is 3 sets of 10. Pre-pregnancy, I used to work towards 3 sets of between 6 to 8. That was because I was focusing on progressive overload and lifting heavier weights rather than the actual rep range. But now that I obviously can't lift as heavy, I've had to bring the weight down, so I've therefore upped the reps. Then for my final exercise, I went in with hip abduction. I'm leaning forward, holding onto the machine, but I'm keeping my back nice and straight. That's just so that I get a greater stretch across the glutes. And then it was time for some post-session stretches. So for my cool down stretches, I always go in with static, which are static movements are just movements that you hold in one position. There's no movement. So this one here that I'm doing at the moment is called pigeon pose or pigeon stretch, and this is getting your like hip flexors and glutes. And then I've also filmed what it looks like from the other leg. I really struggle to get my legs into position in this now that I'm pregnant, but it does feel really good once you actually get into a comfortable position. I usually hold these for around 30 to 40 seconds. Then I went in with a standing hamstring stretch. I usually do the standing one and the lying one, while the one that's on the floor, but I can't do the one that's on the floor anymore because of my bump. So I just went in with the standing one, and then I also went on to a quad stretch, which felt so good after those brutal leg extensions. It's just really nice to just cool your muscles down. And then for my last stretch, I went in with the butterfly stretch, which is targeting your inner thigh area. And yeah, that was my leg day done. Once I got home from the gym, I had a shower and did my evening skincare. And then I made myself a nice lemon and honey water because my throat is really sore, so I do apologise with how deep my voice sounds during these voiceovers. And then I just started to read a new book that my mum got me for Christmas. I've been in a proper reading rut at the minute, and I've just not been enjoying reading as much as what I usually do, so I'm quite glad that I've got a new book to start, and it is part of a series as well, which I always prefer. I think there's 4 more books after this one, so it'll be nice to kind of get it back into reading and start reading a full series again. After I read for a little bit and it started to get dark, I then just got my room nice and cosy. How cute is this little moon lamp? My mum got it me for Christmas. I'm not sure where it's from, but it is so stunning, and I love that there's loads of different colour options. So I literally just switch between a few of them, a few of my favourite ones, but it just makes your room look so cosy. I lit some candles around my room. That's another thing that I love about Christmas, is everyone knows me so well, so I always get some nice new smellies and stuff. So I lit a couple of my new candles and then just got into bed and watched a episode of The Beast in Me on Netflix. If you're into like murder, mystery, crime kind of TV series, then you should definitely give it a watch. It was really good. And then after I watched this, me and my boyfriend got a gorgeous Chinese, and I just read some of my new pregnancy books, and that was everything. That was my New Year's Eve. So thank you so much for watching.